Let's talk more about the implications of the French decision tonight. I'm joined live by Conn Hallinan, contributing editor of the Foreign Policy and Focus think tank. Conn, hi. France, then, the first to recognise Libya's opposition. Now it's the first to recognise the Syrian rebel group. Do you see any parallels there?
Unfortunately, I see a lot of parallels, and it's exactly the wrong thing to do at this point. Right now, there is a four-point peace plan that was put out by China. It's a little vague at this point, but a couple of government-run newspapers in Damascus have said that it looks like it's a basis to begin negotiations and some talks on a peaceful resolution, a political resolution of the current situation. By France stepping in and doing this is exactly what France did in Libya, which is that the UN passed a resolution. Instead of attempting to negotiate a peaceful resolution, the French started bombing 3 days after the UN Security Council passed its resolution. I think what's happening in this case is that France is essentially intervening in the situation, is supporting a group that basically says there's no other solution but a military solution. It's the worst thing that could happen.
OK, but France now, who next, do you think?
Well, this is spreading everything. I mean, this is right out of Shakespeare. You know, cry havoc and let loose the dogs of war. Situation is very bad in Lebanon at this point. You have instability in Turkey. You have
no. Who next in line to recognise the group?
Oh, in terms of recognizing the groups, I would suspect that Britain might be next. I mean, that was the way it went in Libya. First Syria, then Britain, then the United States. I'm not sure the United States is going to step in at this point, but I do suspect that Britain will be fairly close behind France. I very much doubt that France would have made this move unless they had gotten some other agreement from people in NATO to join in with a recognition.
Conn, Paris now considering arms shipments to the group. What level of involvement do you think France could have from now on? Taking in everything you've just said, is the state likely to go further than just weapons?
Well, I do think what it does is that it's a green light for opening up the arms shipments to the rebels. I mean, at this point, there's an arms embargo against Syria, and there's no arms embargo in terms of what Qatar and Saudi Arabia are doing. But when France steps into it, it means that's a whole different level. And you basically have a situation where you could have anti-aircraft missiles, anti-tank missiles, artillery. I mean, you're gonna raise the level of the war enormously. And I think what you're going to end up doing is creating larger and larger amounts of civilian casualties.
Conn, thanks for your initial thoughts about this developing news story tonight. Good to get you on the line so quickly. Appreciated. Conn Hallinan there, contributing editor of Foreign Policy in Focus.
Glad to be.